The world is mine. I don't know. We'll have to sit together with PFL and see what we can come up with. But I just beat the best girl that's out there out of any other division. So
I did. These guys have missed me for sure. They've been very vocal on social media. So I'm excited to finally get back in the cage and do what I do best.
The drama surrounding Dana White and Dakota Dicha has gripped the MMA world like few stories before. When the UFC president sends a private message to the undefeated PFL phenom, the ripple effect is immediate, and chaos follows in a way that only combat sports can deliver. The message was short, almost casual, yet the implications were seismic. "You're next for Valentina Chevchenko." 3 words that would ignite a firestorm, bridging 2 worlds and sparking debates that have yet to settle. It wasn't just talk. It was a challenge, a summons that could reshape women's MMA forever. On one side stood Valentina "Bullet" Chevchenko, a name synonymous with precision, discipline, and unparalleled skill. Her reputation had been forged over decades in the brutal crucible of the UFC flyweight division. Shevchenko wasn't merely a champion, she was a machine. Every movement, strike, and defensive maneuver was calculated, refined to perfection. Her Muay Thai roots had evolved into a complete mixed martial artist's arsenal, allowing her to dominate from every range, adapt to every opponent, and control every fight with surgical precision. By the time she reached 37, whispers of decline had begun to surface. But make no mistake, Shevchenko was still elite, still a force capable of destroying careers and cementing her legacy as one of the greatest of all time. Across that imagined battleground stood Dakota Dicha, a fighter from Manchester, England, whose rise has been nothing short of meteoric. Dakota wasn't supposed to dominate the sport so quickly or so completely. When the PFL discovered her, few outside Europe knew her name. Now she was the embodiment of modern MMA. Disciplined, ruthlessly efficient, and terrifyingly unstoppable. Her record was flawless: 15 victories, 0 defeats, and 12 knockouts. A resume that read like a highlight reel designed to intimidate any opponent. Yet Dakota's power and composure were more than numbers. She was the perfect storm of technique, timing, and mental fortitude. Dana White had recognized it instantly, the fans could see it, and the MMA world had begun to whisper a new name with reverence and fear: Dakota Dicha. The young fighter's journey is as captivating as her performances inside the cage. Her ascent has been violent poetry. Each fight adds another chapter to a story defined by precision, timing, and relentless evolution. Dakota's mastery is not born from chaos, it is constructed with methodical intent. Opponents who believe themselves prepared have been dismantled with ruthless exactitude. Her strikes snap like whips, her knees land with devastating authority, and her elbows, thrown with mechanical precision, have become the signature weapons of a fighter who seems untouchable. Her most recent test came under the lights of Cape Town, South Africa, against Sumiko Inaba, an undefeated contender with everything to gain and nothing to lose. From the opening bell, Dakota's dominance was absolute. Inaba pressed forward with bravery, but every advance met a wall of technique and cold aggression. Dakota's front kicks connected with brutal accuracy, her elbows from the clinch cut through defenses, and her body shots reverberated across the arena. She executed over 170 strikes across the fight, leaving no doubt about her supremacy. Midway through, however, the unexpected occurred. Dakota injured her left hand. For most, this would be a reason to retreat, to recalculate, to avoid risk. But Dakota adapted. Pain became fuel. Her kicks, right hands, and spinning attacks transformed adversity into a showcase of skill, leaving spectators in awe. When the final bell rang, the unanimous decision confirmed what everyone already knew: Dakota Dicha was untouchable. But it wasn't only the victory that defined that night, it was what followed. Standing in the cage, blood on her gloves and an unmistakable calm in her eyes, Dakota dropped a revelation. She had re-signed with the PFL. Her loyalty was unwavering. She had no intention of chasing the UFC's allure immediately, no desire to abandon the empire she had built in the organization that had discovered her. "I've just re-signed," she said, smiling through the pain, "and I'm ready for the next few years together." The crowd erupted, understanding the magnitude of the commitment. Yet even as she pledged her future to the PFL, the MMA world buzzed with a singular question. Could Dakota resist the allure of fighting Valentina Chevchenko, the greatest of today, the queen of precision? The comparison was inevitable. Valentina had spent her career perfecting every detail of her craft. Her reign wasn't a product of hype but of decades of execution, discipline, and an almost machine-like ability to adapt under pressure. Dakota, in contrast, was the storm of the new generation. Young, hungry, and deadly. Her rise challenged not just competitors but the very narrative of women's MMA. The hypothetical collision between these two titans, experience versus youth, legacy versus potential, was the match fans had dreamt of for years. And Dana White's cryptic message only added fuel to the fire. Yet before any confrontation with Shevchenko could be seriously considered, Dakota had other obstacles to overcome. At PFL 1 in Texas, she faced Lisa Malden, a fighter brimming with confidence, vocal and brash. Malden promised to take what wasn't hers, claiming she would shock the world. What Dakota delivered was yet another masterclass. From the first bell, she dismantled her opponent with a combination of relentless pressure, pinpoint body shots, and crushing knees. Malden tried to trade blows, but every attempt was countered and corrected. In a decisive first-round TKO, Dakota proved once more that talk is cheap and that her actions speak louder than words. Then came Catherine Karinas, an American brawler eager for chaos. "I want to bang," Karinas proclaimed, promising an all-out war. Dakota's response was characteristically calm. Once the cage door closed, the violence began, but not in the chaotic, reckless way Karinas had hoped. Dakota was surgical, her stance immaculate, her timing flawless, and her counters devastating. One right hand ended the fight almost instantly. Another first-round knockout, another fighter left stunned, and a legacy quietly solidifying with each step. As Dakota's dominance became impossible to ignore, analysts and fans alike began drawing comparisons to legends. Dan Hardy, former UFC title contender and respected voice in MMA, publicly declared that Dakota represents the future of the division, a fighter whose skill set is complete and evolving in real time. Fans whispered comparisons to a young Valentina Chevchenko, marveling at Dakota's ability to control distance, dictate pace, and finish fights with precision. Dana White, ever the businessman, recognized the potential for an unprecedented crossover. "Stay ready," he allegedly told her. "You're next." Those words alone set the MMA world ablaze, a hint that the impossible, Dakota versus Valentina, might not remain hypothetical for long. For Shevchenko, the story is one of enduring mastery. She has long since transcended the desire for money or fame. Her pursuit is one of proof. Proof that she can still stand above all challengers, even those whose names are only now beginning to echo in gyms and arenas worldwide. Dakota, conversely, fights with the unburdened urgency of youth. She doesn't yet chase legacy, she chases validation, dominance, and inevitability. Both women, in their respective journeys, embody the extremes of competition: perfection and fearlessness, experience and raw power, legacy and potential. Even outside the cage, Dakota exudes a duality that makes her fascinating and formidable. Interviews reveal a warmth and charm, a relatable humanity, yet within the cage she becomes something entirely different: a calculated instrument of destruction, devoid of emotion, operating with a terrifying serenity. Her presence commands attention, her fights demand respect, and her name inspires both awe and anxiety across weight classes. In her hands, violence becomes art, discipline becomes destiny, and every fight is a canvas painted with the inevitability of her dominance. Yet amid all the speculation, one central question remains: will Dakota Dicha ever meet Valentina Chevchenko in the cage? The MMA world has long debated the hypothetical matchup. Fantasy and reality collide in ways that make every rumor, every whisper, and every social media post feel like history in motion. If such a fight were to happen, it would not simply be a battle for a belt or bragging rights. It would be the collision of two eras, the meeting of the old guard and the new blood, a moment when calculation meets ferocity, and skill meets youth without compromise. For now, Dakota continues to rise. Her unbeaten record, her knockout streak, and her commitment to the PFL solidify her as a phenomenon in motion. Each victory, each knockout, and each challenge overcome is a testament to preparation, vision, and a mentality that refuses to yield. Every opponent who steps into the cage faces the same immutable truth: Dakota is complete, unstoppable, and evolving with every fight. Shevchenko remains a legend, the benchmark against which greatness is measured, but Dakota represents the inevitable progression of the sport. She is the next chapter in the story of female MMA, a storm of precision, power, and indomitable will. And so the world waits. Fans speculate, analysts debate, and the whispers of a super fight grow louder with each passing event. Whether Dakota Dicha and Valentina Chevchenko ever meet, their legacies are already intertwined. Two champions from different worlds, united by the pursuit of greatness and separated by nothing but time and circumstance. One represents the perfection of experience, the other the promise of the future. Together, they define the edge of human potential in combat sports. The narrative is still being written, but the message is clear. Dakota Dicha isn't just chasing greatness. She is defining it. And the MMA world has never seen a storm like this. Now the question is yours. If Dana White arranges the ultimate super fight, would you pay to see Dakota Dicha face Valentina Chevchenko? Who do you think would emerge victorious? Comment below and let us know. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the rise of Dakota Dicha and the story behind Dana White's message, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode of MMA's most compelling narratives.